Hey guys, so this is Jay with the Douchebag Brigade, and today we're going to be discussing if Shin Megami Tensei V is going to be shown at the Tokyo Game Show 2019. And my first thoughts on this are, how could it not, considering it's been 2 years since the release, or at least a little teaser trailer of Shin Megami Tensei V. Now, I know that it was obviously pushed to kind of show off the 25th anniversary. And I know that Atlas obviously wanted to time that and match up the timing on that correctly, considering Megaten properties as a whole has definitely been their bread and butter. However, after doing a little bit of, research and looking around, I've come to the conclusion that I'm still undecided. My reasoning behind this is obviously there's been no official release. There's been official release about information being based on Persona 5R. We're going to hear about Fire Emblem versus Shin Megami Tensei, which is Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I mean, stuff that is definitely nowhere near as important as what we really want to see if you're a big SMT fan and that you're dying for this to come out. I mean, if we're being honest, it just feels like with no news, we have no reason to expect anything new. You would think after all this time we would have seen a battle trailer, a little bit more story, something a little bit more concrete, something a little bit more like maybe a demo. But at this point, we're still waiting. And I have to admit, that does not make me feel confident that this is going to come out today. Now, that isn't to say that they won't show something. I mean, considering when it was revealed, there was absolutely no information about it. It wasn't even a thought. I mean, For Apocalypse was still kind of fresh at that point. I mean, we were still, enjoying some of that, or at least some of us were, and other SMT based properties. I just find it weird that they announced two Shin Megami Tensei projects. One came out 6 months later, which was Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. I think it was 6 months later. Forgive me if I'm wrong about that. And yet, we have heard absolutely nothing on the real brand new development of Shin Megami Tensei V. Now, that's not to say that I didn't expect the Strange Journey one to come out quicker, considering it was just a revamp of a smaller project ported onto a slightly better system. But you would think that they would do something to keep us entertained in the meantime. I mean, I think when I want to speculate today is less about this and more about what if we were to get something to hold us off in the meantime while they're working on this. Now, I know you're probably wondering, what the hell does that mean? And what I'm thinking is, what if we found out that they were going to actually do a Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne HD remake? Now, that sounds crazy, I know. But let's think about this for a second, considering they have actually decided, obviously this would have been for PlayStation 3, so we know that didn't happen. But isn't it possible that we could get a revamp of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne for PS4? Is it possible that we could get it for the Switch? I mean, considering they've said so many times that they'd love to remake Nocturne, that they'd love to have a HD remake or remaster, isn't it possible? And let's be fair, I would totally take a Nocturne remaster or remake. I wouldn't even care if the graphics were PS2 level. I thought they looked fine for the game and what it was trying to show. How about we just add some more gameplay? That's really all I'd want. How about a Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne side story? How about we find out someone else was surviving in the apocalyptic world? How about we find out that the Demi-Fiend isn't the only person that survived? How about if we find out, I don't know, I forget where in Japan Persona 4 takes place, but what if somebody out there survived in the sticks? How cool would that be? Just a concept and an idea. Another idea that I'm thinking would be amazing for hardcore Shin Megami Tensei fans would be, what about if we finally get something like a Shin Megami Tensei 2 remake? Considering us here in America, we've never really gotten what we wanted. I mean, all we've ever gotten is just, a different level of someone else's game. We didn't even get all we've ever gotten is something like akin to a fan translation. What if we could get an HD remake of this game on PS4, Switch, anything like that? How cool would that be? I know that I would probably prefer to play Shin Megami Tensei 2 and possibly 1 in a whole new fashion with great graphics. Maybe add the press turn system, because when you add the so all the Shin Megami Tensei games are fantastic, but when you add the press turn system, it turns the game into perfection. Because the gameplay can get a little monotonous without a press turn system based on, it's turn-based RPG. And unfortunately, discovering weaknesses in the original Shin Megami Tensei games and Megami Tensei games, the weaknesses don't really have an advantage. I mean, they're slightly more hit harder, obviously. So yes, in that respect, it's an advantage, but not enough to where it's all-encompassing or it helps you really figure out how to finish off certain enemies. So I think that would be amazing in itself. Now, how about another release? What if we could get, and this is probably going to be niche here, but what if we could get something like, I don't know, let's say we could get something like, and imagine that this would be for Switch instead of Nintendo 3DS. Imagine if we could get Devil Survivor 3. How cool would that be? I'm a huge Devil Survivor fan. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing I want more than Shin Megami Tensei games, the exact games, but a Megaten game, not Persona-based, like Devil Survivor, that would be amazing. And imagine that this would go to Switch, because the 3DS has got to be at the end of its life cycle here. Imagine this game, full 3D graphics, full polygons. Imagine playing Devil Survivor, but let's say with like Nocturne-esque characters. Persona 5-esque character designs. That would be unbelievable. Talk about Megaten fanboying out. That would be incredible. That would be the greatest thing that had happened. Now, let me give one last concept here of what we could get. What if we get an announcement that we are going to get a brand new Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga 3. After all this time, we get a third entry into the game. And imagine that this game was just kind of forgotten about, came out, doubled up. We get basically 2 games back to back, and then we never hear about it again except for in a manga that's only in Japan. What if we could get a sequel to this? Now, I'll be honest with you, this is probably my bottom of the list of what we could get, but I love the game. It just doesn't rank as highly for me, but I definitely would not mind another chance to, get Atma points, distribute them possibly, and see where this story can really go. Maybe this is a different person in a different area of the waste. I mean, I really think that there are so many possibilities here, so many opportunities here for us to get some amazing games, some truly amazing games. And you know what? I guess my last thought would be, what if we had the opportunity to get Majin Tensei Ronde completely changed. And let me explain what I mean when I say completely changed. I mean, what if we could get this game, but we get it with all new polygon updated models, no load times, and this turns into basically an incredible SRPG. I mean, with all the hype over the new Fire Emblem game, SRPG seems to be where it's at. So imagine if we could get this game with actual good rendered polygons, great graphics, remastered, remade, multiple new demons added to it. I mean, if you've played Majin Tensei or Majin Tensei 2, you know these are fun games. I mean, I put them up there with Devil Survivor, and they're very different than Devil Survivor. They're more of your typical SRPG as opposed to maybe a more SRPG blend with turn-based. But this game could be incredible if they overhauled the entire game. These are just my thoughts of things that we could get. Though, to be honest, the thing I want most is Shin Megami Tensei V. And even though I don't feel that hopeful in it coming out, I really would love to see it. But anyway, this is Jay with the Douchebag Brigade. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on what you'd like to see released at the Tokyo Game Show 2019 and what SMT content you'd like to see come out. Megaten content. So, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.